Hey, good afternoon, YCIS. It's Mr. Hackman again, back for academic year 2020-2021. I think we're about a week into the year. We've had a few classes now, and I'm looking forward to this year's assembly time. Always a good opportunity. Obviously, I prefer to do these live when we can see each other face to face and interact a bit. But, until things settle down COVID wise, we'll just press on the best we can and do this via Zoom and via video. So, anyhow, I know we've got a number of new students. So, although I know most of you know who I am and you know what the Christian and Community Development Division is, just as a quick orientation for our new students and perhaps some of our new teachers, I thought I would just do what I tend to do the first assembly every year as a bit of an orientation. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mr. Steve Hackman. I've been with UChung now for 13 years, originally as a teacher and as a campus coordinator at our school in Qingdao. I also helped run the boarding program up there. I've subsequently came to Hong Kong, and I have been now with the Christian and Community Development Division for well over 10 years. I've been in Hong Kong. I arrived in Hong Kong 30 years ago, and so I'm a longtime Hong Konger. It's really become my home, and I love it here very much. So that's a little bit about me, about the Christian Community Development Division, or as we are affectionately known sometimes as C2D2. You may be asking, so what exactly does CCDD do? Well, it's a number of things, but at the end of the day, we are here for you. We want to support you. We want to support you academically. We want to support you holistically. We want to support particularly a number of the areas that help develop the whole person, in and above just the scholastics and the academics. And there's a number of ways that we obviously do that. Before we get into that, this is the CCDD team this year. Some familiar faces, I think you'll remember. I think many of you know Mr. Tony Lee has been with us a long, long time. He's even been here longer than myself. You won't see him on secondary, but if many of you have come through our primary, or even if going all the way back to our ECE kindergarten, you would know Mr. Tony. And then we also have Mr. Eric. If you see in the picture around the table, he's on the right. Mr. Eric joined us at the end of last year. He replaced Miss Christina, who sadly had to move on to a new job, but she's going to be working with Young Life, the group that has been coming in and helping support us on our assemblies. So we're going to be continuing to work with Miss Christina, just maybe in a different capacity. But it's been great having Mr. Eric come join us, and he's going to be doing a lot of work. There's some things that he brings that I'm sure he's looking forward to sharing with you. I think many of you know Ms. Kays, and just a wonderful part of the CCDD team for a number of years now, and then myself there, and then Mr. Tung. Mr. Tung's on the left around the table, and Mr. Tung is obviously he teaches in the maths department as well as doing a number of things. He actually does a lot of interaction with your parents as well, so you better be nice to Mr. Tung. And then we have Mr. Kit Joe. Mr. Kit, if you've been a student for a number of years at UChung, you may recognize Mr. Kit because he was with CCDD for a number of years. He's coming back in a part-time capacity, and he's mainly going to be helping us develop our film, our video, our editing. We're going to be doing some character education videos, but we're also going to be doing some film training, and I'll mention a little bit more about that in just a little bit. Obviously, the Christian and Community Development Division has a very strong Christian component to it, and so when I came into this position about 10, 11 years ago, I was looking for a Bible verse that I thought would underpin what we do at CCDD, and I just love the verse from the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 10. When Jesus was asked, why did you come? You know, why do you even come here, Jesus? What's your reason for being here? What are you trying to do? Jesus responds, I've come that you can have life, and have life to the full. It's not just about living and that you breathe and you take up space and have mass, but that you are a fully engaged person who is loving life, who's enjoying a flourishing life. And that's what we want to do at CCDD, is to to develop programs and also support other programs done by different teachers in different departments that help bring a flourishing life to you. We want you to live the best life possible. And during your time at YCIS, we want to have um, contributed to making you the best that you can be. Now, there's three different ways that we try to engage, and obviously we work with teachers and staff as well. But whenever we do assemblies or activities or really anything we like to do at CCDD, I'm always trying to see how is this helping, particularly in your case, with the students' relationship in three different areas. I think three different spheres that are crucial to developing us as whole people. And the first is obviously your relationship with God. You know, the having that relationship with God, understanding God, being comfortable with knowing Him as with unconditional love, as a father, as someone who loves you without any expectations other than just loving you because you're His child. Now, I know that many of you maybe come from other religious faiths or perhaps no faith at all. And in those cases, what I want to convey to you, I want you to be able to be comfortable with the divine. If you don't believe in God, that with creation, with an understanding that there's something bigger than yourself that you need to be in tune with, it's incredibly grounding. I know for me, my relationship with God is what grounds me and keeps me centered. And we want to develop that kind of relationship for you. The second area of relationship we like to look at is your relationship rather than the one upward towards God. It's the sideways one with your peers, your family, your colleagues, your fellow students. We want to develop or help you develop those relationships so that they're healthy, so that they're life-giving, that they're not toxic, that you understand the responsibilities of being a friend and for friends to be responsible towards you. There's a lot that goes into relationships, particularly at the age you're at. As you're going through a number of changes in your life, you're going to have to really be able to identify what is a healthy relationship and how do you pursue those healthy relationships. And also the third area of relationship we like to help you develop is obviously we have the upward to God, the sideways, your peers around you, but then also down at creation, the environment, nature. We've been given a stewardship of this planet, and we haven't always lived up to that in a very positive way. And what we really want is for you to understand that you are part of creation, that we need to be in a good relationship with creation. And so we'll be talking at different times about what we can do to promote the environment and promote healthy natural living around us. Now, CCDD also promotes and encourages these relationships by either initiating our own activities. A lot of times CCDD will do, we'll do a camp, or we'll take an activity, we'll go off campus and go do something exciting, as you can see, like a barbecue. But then we also work with the teachers. A lot of times teachers will come to us. They've got an idea or they've got a program or something that they think will help you and your academic and your school life, and then we like to support that and we'll see what we can do to just help build that up as well. There's a number of things that we do every year, and they change depending on the staff that we have and also the desire, the needs that the student body requires of us. But pretty much every year we try to offer some kind of Bible studies, lunchtime studies, after school studies, sometimes as CCAs, sometimes as not. We do obviously what I'm doing here, secondary as well as primary assemblies. We're down at the primary. Character education support. This is part of it, doing these assemblies as part of the character education program in addition to other things. Student Christian Fellowship, Ms. Kays will be getting that started again soon, and probably initially it'll be online, but obviously we're hoping to be able to do that in face-to-face as soon as possible. Again, we do a lot of after-school vacation breaks, lunchtime programs. We work with the SLT and learning support to help develop character programs and help support the programs that are already implemented by the school. Also this year, we're excited, like I mentioned, Mr. Kit has come back, and Mr. Kit has a background in filmmaking, film editing. So we're going to be offering very shortly a intensive course where students that are interested in maybe pursuing filmmaking, that want to learn more about how to use a camera, how to do lighting, how to do script writing, how to do the little nuts and bolts of what it takes to create a film. We're going to be doing that very soon, and we'll keep you informed when that opportunity presents itself. We're also been involved with music and band mentoring, depending on the year, but we've done a lot of that in the past. And so if music or filmmaking interests you, and particularly when it comes to bands, we'd be happy to talk with you about how we can help support you. One of the areas, if you're a longtime student here, you're well aware of our Seeds of Hope program. And our Seeds of Hope program is transforming a bit, and essentially Seeds of Hope will become any service learning that we do in the school. So there'll be a number of projects, whether it's student council or global perspectives, or if a teacher has something that they would like to do to help raise awareness of a particular issue, whatever it is, we like to band that under the umbrella of Seeds of Hope, with the tagline of learning to love our neighbor as ourselves. But if you've been here for any time at all, you're also aware that for the last 3 years, we've done kind of a bigger group effort with a group in Manila called Kids International Ministries. And for 3 years, we have raised money to help build a school there, which is currently being built. I'm going to show a video in just a moment. We just got an update from the school of the school's construction. But even I think more exciting is that we regularly, at least twice a year, take students to the Kids International Ministry. We go to Manila and we do wonderful programs. You feed the poor, you work with kids in the orphanage, you teach in the school classes, you help do some of the things to help build the school. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to put into action some of the things that we learn in character ed, we learn in assemblies, developing empathy, developing a sense of gratitude for the blessings that we have. So just a couple pictures from some of our students doing some feeding for some of the locals there. And then if you see on this video, this is some of our boys. This is the new school that's being built. And you can see them putting in a retaining wall. And it was wonderful. The students all loved it. There was a sense of accomplishment. And our hope is that as the school gets built and in the years to come, many of you will know that, hey, I helped build this school that is bringing a real transformation to this community. I just want to show this video. Realize in this video, over the last 3 years, we raised $300,000 US, not just our school, but schools all across China, our Yucheng and our Yuhua schools, Beijing, Shanghai, Chongqing, Qingdao, Guangzhou. We all pooled and we've been raising money to help build this school. And that's why I want to show you this video, because you can see how big this school is going to be and how much it's going to transform this impoverished community outside Manila.
So it's an exciting day for Cuatro Christian High School. This is the first floor pour of the cement for the first floor. So we're pouring half of the first floor, and I want to give you guys a perspective on how huge this project is. So up here, we're on the first floor, and this is going to be the kitchen area and the dining area for the kids, the canteen, whatever. All the way over. There's underneath this, there's the same floor plan, but it happens to be the physics and chemistry lab. And then comes all the way around. And I wanted to show you downstairs. So this is the area I've been talking about, which is going to be youth lab. So it's a little overwhelming here because all of this area is going to be poured tonight. And this is all going to be an open area for youth lab, for the school, for events at the school where we can fit the 500 kids and all of that. But I want you to take a look at the community around us. All of this is being done in the middle of Cuatro. And if you can imagine the impact that this is going to have on this community as this building goes up, this 5-story building. Actually, there, right in the distance, that is the elementary school, just to give a perspective to everybody. And then this is the Camden Church next door. And I wanted to come over and show you another piece of this, which is we have the little soccer field that we're going to be building, and then on the other side of that, a covered basketball center for the school and for the community and doing ministry. So a lot of you came out here and worked on the soccer field. It's a muddy mess out here right now, but if you'll notice, it's now level with the fence all the way around it, retaining wall there, and then on the other side you can see that is going to be where a basketball court will be, and then the elementary school will be right around the corner.
I hope you enjoyed that. Looking forward to, as soon as this COVID thing kind of goes away a little bit, we can resume our trips there. Very much looking forward to our ongoing relationship with Kids International Ministries. I think every one of our students that has been on a trip has just talked about how much they enjoyed it and how much it impacted them. Now, just real briefly, I want to introduce the theme that we're going to be doing in this year's assembly program. Like last year, we did the fruits of the Spirit. We looked at love and joy and peace and patience and all these things that Jesus said that when we're implementing them in our lives, they're going to bring fruit, not only to ourselves, that flourishing life that I mentioned earlier, that flourishing life, not only to ourselves, but to those around us. We're going to build on that this year by looking at the Sermon on the Mount, or another section of that is called the Beatitudes. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in an upcoming assembly, probably the next one. The Sermon on the Mount is Jesus's most famous collection of teachings. And it really focuses on what the world needs to do if we want the world to be a bit more like heaven. I mean, I think we all know that there's some things that are just off in this world. There's things that it should be more like. There's things we should be doing more, things we should be seeing more of, and there's things we should be seeing less of. And I think we could probably agree on what a lot of that is. Now, Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is not a place where you go when you die. I think a lot of times people think, oh, you die and you go to heaven. That's not really what Jesus taught. What he taught was the kingdom of heaven is all around you. You've got to begin to cultivate it. You've got to be able to see it with new eyes and make it happen. When I say cultivate it, you have to help create it. You need to help make it. You need to do the things that are necessary in order to see earth look more like heaven. What would the type of world around us look like if it had more of the attributes of God in it, namely love, taking priority over just about everything? What if everything we did was based and rooted in love? Can you imagine how much the world would change? We're going to have a whole year to get into some of these teachings and to explore some of these ideas. But I wanted to leave you with a reflection question that you can put on the Google Classroom for this. I believe it's on your Form 1, but Form teachers, you can clarify that. But I wanted to ask a couple reflection questions. And I want to start it by saying, in the prayer Jesus taught us, the one he taught us to pray, commonly referred to as the Lord's Prayer, he said that it might be on earth as it is in heaven. If you're a Christian, you may be familiar with the Lord's Prayer. But if you're not, it's probably the most famous prayer that Jesus taught his followers to pray. So the questions I want to ask is, what would need to change in the world for it to become more like heaven? Like, what's the first thing you could think of? Like, if the world was going to be more like heaven, what change would be needed? Obviously, you could go into probably a lot, but name one thing that you think would need to change, that you would think is the most important thing. And then the second thing is, what can you do to help that change happen? What could you do to help that change happen? Think about that. I look forward to seeing some of your responses. And with that, we'll close this time, this first assembly time, with, as we always do, we like to close in prayer. And let's close with the Lord's Prayer, the prayer that I just mentioned, the one that Jesus taught his followers to pray. You're welcome to join along with me, but I'll close this time by saying, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive them that sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Thanks, everyone. Welcome back to another school year. I look forward to working with you in a number of areas. And even more so, I'm looking forward to seeing you all face to face. Have a great day and take care. Bye-bye.